Welcome to my cell phone bag crochet tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to create this beautiful and texturized bag step by step. For every round, you will see the pattern text on screen and each stitch will be highlighted with animated red circles so you'll never lose your place. And for all your visual learners, I've included a pattern diagram for every round. You will also learn how to crochet classic back straps to finish your project beautifully. With full voice narration, pattern text, and stitch diagrams, I am confident you'll be successful in making this gorgeous cell phone bag. So grab your hook and your yarn and let's get started. To get started on our bag, I'm going to do a slip knot and I'm going to chain on 24 stitches. 23 and 24. Okay, so you got 24 stitches. I'm going to put my thumb here on the last stitch so I don't get it confused. So I'm going to start out with chain 3 and then I'm going to do a double crochet, and I'm not doing the double crochet into the last stitch where my thumb is, but I'm going to do a double crochet into the second stitch. And you're gonna double crochet the entire row until you get to the first chain, and I'll tell you what to do next. Okay, I'm at my last stitch, and into this last stitch here you're gonna put 2 double crochets. So that's 1, and into the same stitch you're going to put a second one. Okay, now you turn your work and you continue on, and you can see here, so these are the last 2 we did, 1, 2, right? And then now we want to do a single crochet right opposite of the third one. And then you continue to do so until the very beginning again. So if it's hard for you to see the stitches, you can go by the double crochet on the other side, right? So you can go here, goes your next double crochet, look at your work, go here, okay, so here I'm back at the end, so I have a couple more. So I do opposite of this one, and then I have one more. This is my first double crochet I did here, so opposite of that one. And then you're gonna slip stitch into your chain 3. So this was 1, 2, 3, slip stitch, and that was round number 1. Okay, so in round 2 we're gonna go straight into our Celtic weave pattern. You're gonna start out with a chain 3, and then you're gonna do a treble crochet, so 2 yarn overs. So you're gonna skip 2, so 1, 2. Okay, so you skip this stitch, you skip this stitch, and into the third one we're going to do a front loop treble crochet. So you go underneath the double crochet and you do a front loop treble crochet, and I highly recommend for you to use a stitch marker here, because in the first couple rows it gets hard seeing the pattern. So we do another treble crochet into the very next one, front post, Okay, so we have 2 front post treble crochet, and now we're going to do 2 front post treble crochet into the stitches that we have skipped. So we skip this one and we skip this one. So we're going to do a front post treble crochet into the first skipped and then into the second. And in this round, I'm going to go with my hook over the 2 stitches that we have just done. Okay, so into the first skip stitch, front post only, do a treble crochet, and then you do another front post treble crochet into the second one that we skipped. So we did 2 this way, now we did 2 this way, and we continue that all around. So yarn over twice. So this is the last treble we did over here. So we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and into the third one. Okay, so here are the trebles. So we're going to skip these 2 and we're going to treble crochet into the next 2. So 1, 2 into the third one, we're going to do a treble, into the fourth one we're going to do a front post treble, and then we're going to do front post treble into the 2 stitches that we have skipped. So over the work, okay, I'm going to do that one more time. Skip, skip into the third one, we do a front post treble, and into the next one we're going to do another front post treble, and then we're going to go back into the first skip stitch, and we're going to front post treble here, and we do the same in the second skip stitch. Okay, so continue this pattern until the end of this round. I'll meet you back over here. Okay, I'm to my last front post treble crochet. Here we go. And this is what your work should look like right now. It doesn't look like much, but it'll come together. So see how this looks really confusing, the first couple rows. So that's why I highly recommend for you to use your stitch marker, and then you're going to slip stitch into that first stitch. Okay, so let's do row number 2. So row 1 and row 2, that's your pattern repeat. Okay, it's only a 2-row pattern repeat. So chain 3, we're going to do a treble crochet, but let's take a look at your work. So you have 2 trebles right here that goes on top, and there's the 2 that goes like this way right here, right? So you're going to skip the first 4 and you're going to work these 2 first, the ones that are underneath these. Okay, so sometimes you have to kind of like pull it apart so you can see it, but here are the 2 stitches we're going to be working in. So here's the first one, So do a front post treble, mark your first stitch. Now you will see as you go in the round, your first stitch is going to keep moving around, always one section ahead, and that's no problem. That's how it's supposed to be. Okay, so we're going to do our second front post treble in here. Okay, so now in the first round, remember we did the treble going over the first two trebles that we did. This time around, we're gonna go behind it. Okay, and the stitches that we're gonna work on is going to be the two prior to this one. Okay, these two. So 2 yarn overs, go behind the 2 trebles that you just did, pick up the first treble from the previous row, and then do a back post treble, and then you do another one, which is going to be this one. So go behind the 2 trebles that you just did, go behind this one, and do the treble. Okay, so it looks confusing at first, but it'll come together, I promise. So let's do that together one more time. So we're gonna skip the next 2 that go this way, and we're gonna go into these 2. So 2 yarn overs, do a treble crochet into this one, and then you do a treble crochet into this one, and then we're gonna go back to the 2 trebles that we just skipped, and we're gonna behind Okay, this is our next one right here. Go behind the 2 trebles that we just did. Okay. One more time, we're gonna skip the next 2 that are leaning left. We're gonna go to these 2 that are leaning right. Here we go. And then continue that all the way around. So I'm at the end of round number 2. I did wanted to show it you one more time because at the end it might look confusing. So we have the 3 front posts going left, So you're gonna do the two front posts that are hidden behind here that are leaning right. And you can see they like to go in hiding, so you kind of have to pull it apart to find it. And then go behind. One more. Okay. And then, see, it looks like a mess, right? So that's why use a bright stitch marker. So slip stitch into this stitch to close round 2. And in row 1 and row 2, you continue that until your desired length. My goal is 6 inches high, so I'm going to show you the first stitch one more time for row 1, a repeat of row 1. So chain 3, treble crochet. The first round is a little bit easier to see because now you can see you're going to go into these stitches and they are on the front. Okay, so you skip 1, 2, 3, 4, and you go into here. And your life-saving stitch marker. Okay, and then for this round, we're gonna go over these stitches. Last round we went behind, right? So pull up your stitches. So you have the 2 going right, and here are the 2 hidden in the back going left. So you're gonna go into the first one. And here's the second one. Okay, one more time. We're skipping these 2. We're skipping these 2. And we're gonna work into these. Okay, here we go. So continue row 1, row 2 until the height that you're looking for. Okay, I think I have the size that I want. Just for your information, this bag is 4 inches wide, which is 10 centimeters, and it's 6 inches long, which is 15 centimeters. As you can see, the last row, or whatever row you're working on, it always feels like it's a little looser than the rows before that. So I'm going to do a single crochet row to give it, you know, more of a tighter look at the top. So I'm gonna chain 1, and into the same stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. So go ahead and mark your stitch, and then after that I'm going to do a single crochet in every single stitch. And we started out with 24 stitches, So you should have 24 single crochets at this point of time. Okay. All right, go ahead and finish this round with a single crochet and I'll meet you right back. So I'm almost at the end of my single crochet row, and just to show you the difference, so you can see with the single crochet it just pulls the stitches together, while it's a little bit loosey-goosey without the single crochet. So I personally would always recommend finishing this specific pattern with a single crochet row at the end. So here I'm at the end. I'm going to single crochet my last stitch, and then I'm going to cut my yarn and pull it out, and now I'm going to do an invisible join. So here was the first stitch that I marked. So for my invisible join, I'm going to insert the hook not into my first stitch, but I'm going to insert my needle, not my hook, my needle into the stitch to the left of it, so the second stitch. And I'm going through both legs. You see how you have two legs here, like a V shape. You go from the front to the back underneath both legs and pull it close. And then you go back to your last stitch, and you're going to go from the front to back, but through the middle. So only the back loop only. And then you catch the base tail on the back, and you pull it about the same width as all the other stitches, and you won't even be able to see it at the end. So I'm going to fasten this off, and I'll be right back. All right, let's talk about the straps, guys. So I did a very simple cord looking like strap. This is what it looks like. It's very sturdy. It has a little give, and it's probably one of the easiest one to do. And I attach it with some tiny little mini D-rings to my back. I love little D-rings, and then I embellish it with a little leather tack. So let's go ahead and do the straps together. So for the straps, I'm also going to be using a 3mm hook, but I'm going to use a double strain of the same yarn. Okay, so very easy to get started. You're going to do a slip knot, and after that you're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Okay, so you're going to do a single crochet into the first chain right here. Just pull up your loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. Okay, then you're going to turn your work like this, turn it this way, and then here on the side you see these little loops right here. See that? That is where you're going to insert your hook. Insert there, pull up a loop. Now you have 2 loops again, yarn over, pull through both loops. Turn your work. You see your loops right here on this side. Okay, I'm going to do it a couple more times without talking, so you just follow along, okay? I tend to be a very tight crocheter and knitter. For this specific strap, I try to keep my stitches a little looser, otherwise it's very, very tough to get your hook through that side loop. Okay, so not too loose, but loose enough for you to easily put your hook through just like this. Now you're going to work the strap as long as you would want. For my straps, I'm going to go for 48 inches, which I believe is 110 or 112 centimeters. So do however long you need it, but that is probably a really good starting point for you. But you do you, okay? All right, so you can see that the strap is coming along super nicely. Very easy, very fast. And once you're done with the strap, you can attach it directly to your bag, or you can attach it with some small little D-rings the way I did. So I hope you had fun making this gorgeous Celtic weave pattern. I love this pattern. It's super texturized, and it's not a super fast knit, but it's not bad either. Love to hear from you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to you later.